So delegation, give it a shot. You're hiring someone who's a freelancer. So if it's not a good fit, no harm, no foul, part as friends. But take something off your plate and give it to someone else and see if that helps you. And you might find that it allows you to focus on more visionary stuff that actually help your business grow. So give it a shot. Go find someone to delegate. Um, okay, so I saw this in a presentation. I know this is long winded, but love to do,
You're fine.
there's love to do and really good at. There's don't mind, there's like to do and really good at. Then there's don't like to do, not great at, and there's don't like to do and very bad at. Now, if you're at all in that quadrant where you don't like to do it and you're bad at it doesn't hurt to learn. I don't think you should just delegate your problems away. You want to learn, but you probably need someone to take that off your plate.
Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Kristy Yoder, host of the Master Delegator Podcast. The Master Delegator Podcast is for busy and overwhelmed entrepreneurs who want to learn how to become effective in the area of delegation and learn how to hire great virtual assistants to help them scale their business and have more time and freedom. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing and don't forget to click the notification bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. Alright, let's get started. Hey, in this episode, I had a chance to talk to Ben Albert. Ben is the owner of Balbert Marketing LLC. He is also the curator of the Real Business Connections Network, where he hosts 5 podcasts which are Rochester Business Connections, Learn Speak Tech, Ben's Bites, 5 Minute Fridays, and Real Hits. Once an underdog, now a successful entrepreneur, Ben is passionate about helping other underdogs achieve their dreams. It lights Ben up to help people just like you find your way. Ben loves to help business people find the essence of who they are and empower them and their companies to make their mark in this world. None of us deserve to feel small, unworthy, or invisible. This is why Ben chose a career in marketing. He has a unique opportunity to empower business people to reach the right community, the right clients, and the right partners who share the same beliefs and values as you. So you can scale above your highest potential, in turn, filling up your pockets and your soul. I super enjoyed our discussion together and our conversation, and I'm sure that you are gonna love it as well. Hey Ben, thanks for coming on the show. How are you doing today?
Christy, I'm grateful that you had me. I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Well, I'm grateful that you are here as well. Thank you. I'm doing great. I'm so excited to get to know more about you and what is it that you do. So why don't we start by, you know, you introducing yourself to us and tell us about what you do.
Sure. My name's Ben Albert, and I like to joke that I ask questions for a living. So there's two main focuses in life. There's the podcast. I am the host and the curator of the Real Business Connections Network. We have 5 different segments on that show. And I am
Nice.
the owner of Balbert Marketing. And as a marketing firm, the short version is we help businesses save time and make money. But it's all in tailoring your approach based on the industry, the business owner, the size. So it's all about asking the right questions so we can actually hold a business owner by their hand and take them to the promised land if that's where they want to go. So again, Christy, I like to joke. I love to ask questions for a living, and right now the tables are turned. So I'm here to be your guest.
I know, right? And I hope that I get to ask the right questions. So which one did you start working on first, the podcast or the marketing agency?
So they kind of happened in conjunction. I had a music related podcast that I started in 2016. It was a locally based show in my hometown of Rochester, New York. So I
Mm-hmm.
called it Rochester Groovecast. That was on a hiatus. So when COVID hit, we all know what happened. The world just was in shambles. It was confusing. There was uncertainty, and I was furloughed from my sales executive corporate role at a marketing firm. So I had nothing. And I restarted the music podcast to kind of, all my musician friends weren't touring anymore. So I wanted to give them a platform. And I started applying for jobs. No one wanted to hire me. I don't think it's anything I said or did. I just think there is so much uncertainty that my back was against the wall, and I didn't see myself as like a lifelong entrepreneur, but I didn't have a job. So I pivoted from the music show. I actually nowadays found someone to take over that show, and I focused on a business podcast. So to give you a little bit of a timetable here, it was August of 2020 that I first decided that I'm doing the paperwork and I'm going to be a business owner. And then it was November of 2020 that I launched the first episode of what was once Rochester Business Connections, again, a local show. Now it's Real Business Connections because I want to hit a larger audience. But the podcast and the business basically started at the exact same time because, as you know, the podcast was an incredible networking tour and my number one source of new connections in a very virtual world. So that's a lot all at once, but they kind of spearheaded and started at the exact same time, Kristy.
I love that. And it's so true that when you have, a podcast, you get to meet a lot of awesome and interesting and unique people. They may not be your target audience, but they can connect you to their network. And I have met a lot of awesome guests here on the show that have referred clients to me. I mean, a few of them, they are now my clients, but most of them, they have referred clients to me. And actually, that is one of, my goals. I mean, of course, first, my mission, the reason why I started this podcast is to build credibility for my business and for my personal brand, and also to promote my business, my agency, and third, to give, a platform for business owners and entrepreneurs to share their business and educate people how, educate people on different levels of, businesses, and share their story, like what they have struggled with when they were starting out their business, and how were they able to overcome those struggles. And so I feel like podcasting, it's not just about talking to people, but it's all about being open, you know, to a lot of things, opening yourself up to people, to your listeners, to your audience, your business as well. And I feel like it's a great way to really share your voice to a lot of people. So I love that. Networking is really something that I love doing, and not just virtual but also physical networking. So tell us more about your marketing agency. What is your focus?
Yeah, so, and first, I just want to put an exclamation point. I agree with you, Kristy.
Like the
I,
red exclamation point, like the emoji, like the two
yes,
exclamation points.
the two exclamation points with the 100 emoji in front of it. So the
Yeah,
100
I
emoji,
like
two
that.
exclamation points. Even if you're the only listeners you have in your podcast is you, the guest, and someone significant in that guest's life, whether it's a significant other or maybe it's a colleague or maybe it's their boss, even if no one's listening, as long as you can make that guest feel great about coming on your show, as long as someone heard it, and as long as you built a relationship, the referrals, the sales, that'll all come. And it won't always come from the guest, but it'll come from the relationships you build. So I
I
just wanted to
love
put
that.
an exclamation point on that. Um, we can talk about anything you like in the marketing world. My current focus at Balbert Marketing is the online essentials. So I like to take a holistic approach. The last thing you want to do, let's say you had a personal trainer and you're trying to get strong and trying to get slim, and all they do is have you work out your left arm. There's no legs, there's no upper body, shoulder workout, there's no diet, no exercise. They just work out your left arm. You'd think they were crazy. But so many marketers say that I have the golden ticket, I have the secret key to your success, and it's usually just one thing that they do really well. So a lot of businesses hire a marketing firm, and that marketing firm is only doing one thing for them, but they're not working multiple channels. They're not working the whole body in this analogy. So we focus on the essentials first. That's making sure you're found on Google, making sure you're found easily on Google, making sure once they find you that they can reach you and call you without any issues. When they go to your website, even if they're a referral, they're not turned away because your website's icky, old, or has privacy or error per issues or 404 issues. Like, we don't want
Yeah.
any of that. And then once the baseline essentials are there, we can start building up the social media, building up the content, creating a podcast, things like that. But it all starts with the essentials. And then based on the client, we can build from there.
Awesome. So that means you want to have a long-term relationship with your clients because if you're gonna, work on their website, SEO and all that kind of stuff, it's not gonna happen in just a day. Sometimes it takes 3 months, 6 months, and then if you're gonna work on their social media, it's not gonna success is not gonna happen overnight as well. So it takes time, for you to be able to see growth. And I just hope a lot of business owners know that, because sometimes I have met a lot of people who want to see growth, the next day, and I'm like, it's just not possible, when you give birth to a baby, that baby is not gonna grow old the next day. You have to wait 15 years, 20 years in order for that person to mature, right? So if you want your business to mature as well, you have to wait a certain amount of time for it to grow and have stability. And so,
And Christy, that baby's also not going to be free of cost. You're going to
oh
have to
yeah,
buy
exactly.
formula. You're going to have to buy clothes. You're going to have to buy new clothes. You're going to have to adapt your strategy as time goes on because your marketing strategy will be much different 5 years from now than it is today. So it's a great
It
analogy.
is.
I'm gonna steal that from you.
Sure, it is an investment. And like I always say, when you hire, somebody to work for your business, or when you hire an agency, it's not an expense, it's an investment, because you're investing in. What do we know about investment, right? It takes a while to see a return, so you just keep on investing and giving all your energy and effort into that investment, and partner with your quote unquote investors or
Yeah.
um, agency owners or whatever, and make sure that you work smoothly with them, and also be accountable. It's so, I don't know, Ben, but it's just so terrifying to see a lot of, just business owners who don't understand the importance of accountability, you know, even with, like, for instance, if I hire you to be my marketing person, we need to be accountable with one another. If I say, "Hey Ben, I think blah 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 blah," and then you say, "Hey Kristy, it's how it's done, blah blah," so I have to take actions and be accountable uh, with you or to you, and make sure that I do the things that you want me to do in order to see results, and vice versa. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not shaming those business owners, but it's just how I have observed, some people how they do business, and um, it may not hurt their business as of the moment, but in the long run, if they don't learn how to do things in the right way, and I think that's important of having people, having experts like you know all about marketing, and so when you have a client, they should trust and listen to you and know that what you say to them is for their own good, for the sake of the business. So, do you want to add more to that, or anything else you have in mind in
Yeah,
relation to that?
I agree. We're not shaming anyone. If we're shaming anyone, I'm shaming myself because when I started my music side gig, music podcast, I'd book bands, I'd help promote events. I did that for 5 years, and I've never actually taken my expenses and my income. I mean, it was stuff I loved to do, but the most I was making at a time was less than $1,000 a month. So it was always a side hustle, but the most I ever made in a month was probably $600. And the expenses for the equipment, sometimes buying tickets, hosting platforms, I was spending just about as much as I made. And not that you can't be successful in the music business, but part of why I had a side hustle for 5 years that never generated income was because I wasn't holding myself accountable. I wasn't outsourcing for help. I was doing all the work, but I was doing it while working two jobs at one point. And I didn't have a successful business because I didn't hold myself accountable. So it starts with the business owner, the business person. You need to hold yourself accountable. And then when you do hire out and when you do bring in clients and when you do have employees, you can hold them accountable too. And since they know you hold yourself accountable, they will respect that and want to work with you. So I agree.
Exactly.
Accountability is huge. And it's not to shame anyone because I failed at it for years and years
Oh,
and
me
years.
too. Yeah.
But, eventually I guess I learned. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the important thing there is that we learn and we try not to do the same mistakes again. And if we do, then just get back up and learn again, you know? So I want to know, based from what I heard, you got viral on LinkedIn,
I wouldn't
unless
say.
it was a different person. So
I
how did
don't
that happen?
So I don't think I wouldn't call myself as getting viral.
Okay.
Um, but it depends. So LinkedIn is a very difficult platform. It truly is. It's harder to get engagement. For example, TikTok and Instagram Reels, whether or not you post good content, you could post something that stinks. I don't mean to use the word stinks, but isn't anything that's like wowing and somehow get like 5,000 or 10,000 views just by luck of the draw. I can't explain it. The algorithms are confusing. We'd have to have a whole three-part episode on that. But LinkedIn's very difficult to get engagement. So I have had posts that have gotten 20, 30,000 views. I had a
That's a
post
lot.
that I think it broke 500 total reactions and lots of comments. Anytime I break 100 reactions, I'm beyond happy because the average LinkedIn post only gets, 1 to 10 reactions. So I wouldn't call it viral because there's certain LinkedIn influencers that have built such a strong following there that I swear everything they post gets hundreds, if not thousands, of reactions and tens of thousands of views. I'm not there yet. But what I love, Kristy, is building a community. So I have confidence that every time I post, members of my community, members of my tribe, people that support me will go and like and comment. So it's very uncommon that a post completely blows it. Most my posts are in the top 5%, but when I hear viral, I'm thinking top 1 to 0.1%, and I'm not close to being there yet. So I can't tell you I know the secret to that just yet.
Are you sick and tired of being overwhelmed and afraid you'll never scale your business? Meet Smart VAs. Unlike many virtual assistant agencies that only assign one dedicated virtual assistant, we provide flexibility for growing businesses by assigning a team of experienced virtual assistants that can do different tasks to support your continuous growth. Visit smartvas.online to book a free discovery call and start growing your business.
Let's talk about the struggles you had first when starting out your business and then how you were able to grow your business.
Sure. Yeah, so wow, growing a business is not easy. I'm not going to pretend like it is. It's a lot of work. I work twice as many hours as I imagined I would, but it's really fulfilling. Some of the biggest struggles at first was just getting enough clients to make ends meet. And once you bring in those clients, I'm all about client satisfaction. So over delivering and making them happy, but then finding yourself like one month you bring in 0 new clients, which is fine, and then another month you have to onboard 3 or 4 clients, and you're just like, I can't do this all. It's crazy, and it kind of gets into what you're an advocate for, and it's delegating. And I know. All right, so I've actually never really talked about this that much, but we've been building a
Oh,
strong
that's
relationship.
exciting.
We've been building a really strong relationship. His name's Assad, and Assad was so I like content marketing, and as a podcast producer, we create a ton of content and we do a lot of social media, and it's just overwhelming amount of work. So Assad is just a world-class graphic designer. He's so good. And what I did is I hired 10 people. Pro- to be exact, I think I hired 8 to do the exact same job. And I gave
Hmm.
them all the same job, and I took a big loss on this, but I had an opportunity to take a large task and work with 8 different people to see that there was going to be alignment in me and this other person. And Assad wasn't he it was interesting because he was very self-conscious and very like meticulous and like nervous about his work, and he needed a lot of positive reinforcement. But out of everyone, he was the most dedicated to success. He wasn't just, oh, here's some graphic, I'm a big shot, bye. It's like, do you like it? What would you change? And he was open to feedback. So now
Wow.
him and I have been working together for 7 months, and he's a freelancer. He's we call him a 1099 in the United States, but he works for himself. But we have a great relationship where since I work with him every day, we've built friendships. I bought his sister's husband. I bought him a watch for the wedding, and we've had a really
Aw.
just amazing relationship built that goes beyond business. And my big takeaway here is I was overwhelmed, so I found someone that I could work with. And when I gave Assad responsibility and I paid him well and I appreciated his time, he's like we're like partners for life kind of thing. Like he sees himself as a stakeholder in the business, and I don't get to pay him as much as I believe he deserves yet, but as the business grows, his income grows, and he has an opportunity to build a team around him long term if we get to that scale. So I just want to be an advocate for what you do in delegation. That again, I didn't just go on, Fiverr and hire someone who has a bunch of reviews and assume that I'll have a relationship that'll create a business that stands the test of time. I worked with 8 or 9 different people, figured out the best fit, and foster that relationship where now the person I delegate with is a stakeholder in my firm. Like he's important. Without him, we don't run the way we should. So again, just an advocate for all you do, Kristy.
I love that. I love that. And, as you were talking about Assad, it reminded me that, hey, Christy, you are providing jobs to people. You are not just delegating, for the sake of having more time and flexibility, but you are helping other people. And just imagine, like, if you, I know you're not going to fire Assad, but just imagine if you fire Assad, what he's going to do, right? So it is going to affect his income and the people that he's providing needs, or providing for. And so I think that's also one of the things that we should remember. They're not they're not just here to help us, but we're here to help them as well. Just like what you mentioned earlier, this is a community. We give and take, and we help each other, grow individually and also professionally. And so what happened to those 8 other people that you kind of tried?
It's I don't want to sound cold-hearted, but it kind of doesn't matter. I can't be the perfect fit for everyone. I lose clients that I wish I could have won. And Assad won in this experiment. So I do have people that I've worked with that I see their skills and their work history that if I were to need to lean on them, it's not like I said, Kristy, you stink, bye. I said, hey, I appreciate your time. I've decided to work long term with a different seller, a different, teammate here. So I don't know. I guess I could check in and make sure they're doing well. But again, I don't want to sound cold hearted, but it's not really my responsibility. My hope is they went and they found a better fit for their freelance career so they have someone proper delegating to them as well.
Yeah, that's right. And because sometimes even for myself, it's hard for me to reject somebody,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's one of the lessons I've learned along the way as well, that I have to be honest and transparent, instead of sugarcoating everything. And so I think it's good that you talk to them and you told them that, hey, you're just not the right fit for me, but maybe you're the right fit for other business owners, and especially with graphics, it's very subjective, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you're a millennial, but mostly millennials, they want minimalist design,
Hmm.
clean, simple. But if you are, what's the generation before millennial? um
Boomers.
okay,
I,
let's just use boomers for
yeah.
example. They might not like minimal looking design and clean and simple. They might like something vintagey or colorful, So I think creating designs, regardless if it's a simple social media post or if it's a website design, it is very subjective. So you're right. You need to find the perfect person to do your designs for your business, for your agency.
Let me ask you a question on this topic. So when you send messages, do you send like a few sentences at a time and then maybe send two to three to four in a row? Or do you write off a brick paragraph of text all at once and send it all at once?
What kind of message are we talking
In
about?
like a DM or a text message. So one to one, not an email, but like a direct message, like a text.
I send a long paragraph.
Okay.
I to be honest, it's one of my pet peeve. Like when somebody texts me, "Hey, Christy,
Yeah.
can I ask you a question?" And then like, okay, what is the question? I'm like, why don't you just tell me the question? Why, why do you need to ask me? Can I
Yeah.
ask you a
Get straight to
question?
the point.
Get straight to the point. Yeah, I'm that kind of person. How
It,
about you?
well,
Like, what's the reason behind that
Well,
question?
I'm somewhere in between where I'll send it all at once, but all my thoughts will be separated by paragraphs. So it's not just one brick. It'll be like, hey, Kristy, hope you're well. I have a question for you. Then I'll ask the question. Then I'll have like a follow up, like conclusion. So I'll have three sections all in one. The reason I ask that is people that are really old school are very much about full paragraphs with formalities and proper grammar. And people that are really young and have been using technology their whole life, sometimes they'll send a voice message or a selfie or just a few words. It's a completely different style. So
Exactly.
again, you've got
Yeah.
to know not only who are you're working with, but as a marketing person, you need to know who that person works with. So I need to be able to work with my client and create content that's for my client's target market. If their target market's not the 10 to 15 year olds, I'm going to maybe want to structure it a little bit different. If my target market is elderly, I'm going to want full paragraphs and formalities and more traditional styles. So, yeah, it's not just square peg round hole.
Yeah, and you also have to learn, or you have to study your target audience. It's not just throwing out, spaghetti on the wall and see what sticks. It's have You really have to like analyze, your target audience and analyze the industry that you are in. So now that you have Assad, helping you in your business, how did that help you scale your business?
Yeah, I mean, it just allows me to have more time to actually do the things that the building of relationships and the acquisition and the networking and the press opportunities and the podcasts, that those are my sweet spots. worked in marketing firms for quite some time, but I was usually in a sales and development consulting role. The nitty gritty, honestly, for me, the hardest part is that creation of the content. It's not my skill set. My skill set is in the business development, the sales, the networking, the PR, that kind of stuff. Assad doesn't want to do that kind of stuff. He wants to be a business owner himself, but he doesn't want to be doing the sales and the podcasting and the acquisition. His sweet spot is give me a vision and I'll bring it to life. So if you have people that can bring your vision to life, when I hired him, I started making less money than when I didn't hire him, but I had someone by my side to allow these visions to come to life. Where, Kristy, I've been in business less than 2 years. This is building a foundation, like we said, like having a baby. We're building a foundation for the long term that in 5, 10 years, all these ideas can come to fruition because I didn't have to do them alone.
I love that. And I love that you and Assad know what you are passionate about doing. Because if we do the things that we don't like doing, we're gonna get tired so easily. But if it's something that we're so passionate about, we don't actually care if we sleep at night or not because we love it, we're happy. And kind of like what you mentioned earlier, you were passionate about music, and that's actually what you did, the first time, and you didn't really care if you get so much money or not, but because you're so passionate about it. But at the same time, you find ways to sustain yourself and to support yourself by adding in more gigs on the side.
Right.
So tell me about how you delegate to Assad. What do you think is the best way to delegate effectively?
Okay, so wow, I don't want to position myself as an expert because I don't have a tremendous amount of experience in this. For me, it's just constant communication. Where I have WhatsApp open. I closed it for this interview, but I have WhatsApp open all the time, so we can reach out to one another at any time. And this is beyond delegation because I don't have the perfect tips. I think you'll have guests that have better tips, but on a super higher level, I just give him accountability, and I basically put my faith in him and my trust and friendship. Where if you can, anyone you're working with, you're delegating, an employee, a partner, if they can see your vision, if they can see your why, they'll be happier to get in the mud with you. So I tell Assad, I'm
Yeah.
like, Assad, our goal is one client a month. And we'll go, and this is for more long term clients, but we will go 60 days without a client, then we'll bring in a client and get a bunch, and he'll get excited and send me a bunch of heart emojis. I swear we have a bromance going on. Um, but I'm like, Assad, none of this is possible without you. So we'll get a lot of traction, and I'll give him a tip, or I'll buy again his girlfriend's husband, not his girlfriend, his sister's husband, a watch.
That sounds so wrong,
Go-
girlfriend's husband. Like,
No, no. And I'm all over the place, but really I'm putting my faith and trust with him, and I'm letting him know the vision. I just put on a summit. It was virtual a couple days ago. I was just at a conference, and I walk him through every step of the way. I'm not just off doing big shot stuff and being like, "Oh, do this, do that, do that." I'm like, "This is what we're up to. This is what we're accomplishing. This is who we met. This is who we're trying to help." It's
yeah.
him and I working together, and I do take on more risk. I do take on more financial responsibility, but it's still us. It's me and him. It's not me using him. It's me and
Right.
him doing this together.
I love that. And you may think that you are not expert in the area of delegation, but I think you are because you were able to get Assad, you know, get or understand your vision,
Yeah.
get on board with your vision. And that is not easy to do. And the fact that you have a proper communication and good communication with him, that you are accountable with one another, that you pass on your vision to him, and you let him, work, alone, and do things that what he thinks is best for your agency.
Yeah.
I think that says a lot. And because delegation, it's not just about telling what people to do, it's about partnership. you know it's like what you said. You have placed your faith in Assad, because you trust him so much, and you know that when you tell him to do something, he's gonna do it, not for you, but because he understands the mission and vision of your company, and that is to have one client, one quality client a month. So I really like that, and I think that is the foundation of delegation. It's not about delegating a task, it's about really building a relationship, with your team member, or whoever that person is, helping you with your business. Wow, that's really good, Ben.
Thanks. And I do want to hear an episode on some of the fundamentals because we have some sloppy WhatsApp conversation that's all over the place. I know that there's certain CRMs and softwares that allow delegation to be easier. I haven't gotten to that level yet. That's why I say I'm not an expert on this, but I'm doing just the traditional human to human, let's have a conversation approach, and it's working.
Yeah, actually, I think this kind of, conversation is what people want to hear. I want people who are very real, honest, authentic, and very open to share what they are going through or what they went through, as compared to, maybe there are some people out there who are, just googling, somebody's experience and sharing that, on the podcast. I mean, I don't know anyone but who's doing that, but
Yeah,
I'm sure there are some people out there. I'm not one of those people, so.
fair enough. Me
All
neither.
right. Well, what would you do if you have a lot of time and you can delegate everything that you have in your business?
So that's a tough one. I joke about this. I can take a day off. It's not like I'm a workaholic where I can't relax. I love camping. I love traveling. I love seeing music festivals, camping, being outdoors. I love this. But honestly, Christy, the thought of just sitting on a beach, like having a beverage, drinking, just laying out on the beach for hours a day for the rest of my life makes me want to go crazy. Maybe that'll change when I'm more towards retirement age. But the moment I have more time because I'm delegating, I'm going to find a new way to put myself to use. Um, I definitely am not one of those let's build the biggest empire, greedy, capitalistic kind of things. I do cherish my time. I don't want to have to work 40, 50, 60, 80 hours a week. But I also don't want to work 0 hours a week. So the moment I delegate my time, is when, okay, my brain starts to go crazy, and then Ben goes and gets to work on something new, which of course over time maybe I'll end up delegating. So this is all kind of high in the sky visionary stuff because right now I'm a small entity, but I don't see myself ever wanting to stop. Like I really enjoy doing what I do. So delegate allows me to go do more things, but it doesn't allow me to go on vacation. That doesn't sound fun to me.
Yeah, I can definitely relate with you. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of entrepreneurs who can relate with you as well. When we're not doing anything, we're just like,
Uh,
actually, the first time I delegated, I was like, okay, what do I do now? Like, I don't have anything to do. Like, I'm going crazy. I'm like, this is not normal. And so I had to adjust. I had to adjust with that, And so I thought of, oh, this is what I need to do. I need to strategize for the business, think of other ways to grow the business, blah, blah, and let other people do the task itself. And yeah, I mean, that is so good. And I feel like us entrepreneurs, we just don't know we just don't know how to stop. Like, if for instance we've delegated 100% in our business, we're going to open another business. And if we've delegated everything again, we've opened another business. We're going to be serial entrepreneurs, and which is which is good because we have to put our skills, our talents, our gifts into use, right? And
Yeah.
I'm not the type of person who wanna lay on bed with a lot of money. I'm the type of person who wants to use that money for good, maybe help other people, bless other people who are in need. Yeah. Well, this has been great, Ben. Any wisdom that you want to share to other business owners, entrepreneurs related to delegation, marketing, or podcasting, or LinkedIn, whatever?
I would just say give it a shot in terms of delegation. So you said multiple categories. I'll just tackle them real quick. So delegation, give it a shot. You're hiring someone who's a freelancer. So if it's not a good fit, no harm, no foul, part as friends. But take something off your plate and give it to someone else and see if that helps you. And you might find that it allows you to focus on more visionary stuff that actually help your business grow. So give it a shot. Go find someone to delegate. Um, okay, so I saw this in a presentation. I know this is long winded, but love to do.
You're fine.
There's love to do and really good at. There's don't mind. There's like to do and really good at. Then there's don't like to do, not great at, and there's don't like to do and very bad at. Now, if you're at all in that quadrant where you don't like to do it and you're bad at it doesn't hurt to learn. I don't think you should just delegate your problems away. You want to learn, but you probably need someone to take that off your plate. Um, I,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to tell people not to learn. Learn a little bit about it, but you don't have to become an expert on it if you're bad at it and you don't like doing it. Take those things and delegate them. Yeah,
Yeah.
and marketing, the only thing I wanna say on marketing is if you're not doing it, no one knows you. It stinks, but you need to go out there. The more hands you shake, the more money you make, the more you post, the more opportunity people will find you. Same exact thing with podcasting. If you're considering, starting a podcast, do 5 episodes. If you're considering starting a podcast, but you don't know, or maybe guest on a podcast. So try to connect with people on LinkedIn and Facebook that have podcasts and guest on a show and see if you're comfortable with that. And then maybe you can start a show. So those are just quick hit tips. That's the first things that come to mind. But I want to be of value, Kristy.
Yeah, you provided so much value on this show, Ben. I love what you said about the more hands you shake, the more money you make. I'm gonna ask my team to create like an image with a code, on that.
Yeah. I stole,
That's just so
I
awesome.
did steal that. Just, I didn't come up with that one. A mentor of mine, Brad Lee.
I We should just say stolen by Ben Albert
Do that. I
from
love
someone.
it.
Just kidding.
No, please do that. Stolen by Ben Albert. I love that. I
um,
love that.
that's gonna explode on LinkedIn. But anyway, I just wanna like add to what you said about podcasting. Podcasting is not something that is very comfortable for me to do as well. But I definitely can relate to what you said. The more hands you shake, the more money you make. This is a really great way to meet a lot of people and to expand your network, and you know just do it, even if it feels uncomfortable. I think even if you don't have listeners, even if it just like what you said earlier, even if it's just you and your guests and your family, your friends, at least you are building your what kind of skill set is that.
So,
When you
yeah,
ask questions, your soft skills or probing skills, whatever, and your
yeah,
confidence as well to talk to other people that you don't know and talking in front of the camera. So I think that is something that I have learned in the past as well, is just to go with it, just do it. And I'm not the most articulate person in the world, but people can understand me, so I think that's all right. And I know that I can bring value to people, and I think that's the most important thing, helping other people and bringing value to them.
yeah.
So thank you so much, Ben, for showing up today. Where can people find you online?
So I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. So again, the name's Ben Albert. You can put that in the show notes, right? So
Mhm.
connect with me on LinkedIn. Or if you want to see the podcast, everything in one place, all socials, marketing, I put it all in one spot, and that's at balbertmarketing.com. So B as in Ben, Albert as in Albert Einstein, but smarter. balbertmarketing.com/all links, like all
I,
links. So balbertmarketing.com/all links. It's everything's there in one spot. So that's the easiest place to go.
awesome. I'll put that in the show notes. Well, thank you so much, Ben, for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Kristy.